This is GT Divide Podcast coming to another episode. Here we got a case out of Clark County, Washington State. The mother here is Janet Garcia. She has a missing 4-year-old, Ariel Garcia. So they're basically coming to pick her up. They're going to ask her some questions. You're going to see here. They're going to try to get a little bit of information from her, and we'll just kind of let it play a little bit, and then we'll kind of critique as we go along. So they show up here. They're talking to her. She's going to kind of give them a little bit of a story about where her son is, because he's missing. And so they're trying to figure out, where's your missing son at? You should know where your missing son is at. You hear him ask a couple of, over and over, hey, you should probably know where your son is at. One of the officers notices blood on her shoe. She'll give an excuse as to why the blood is there, saying he fell and hit his head, type of thing. So we'll kind of play a little bit of it, and then we'll kind of rock and roll as we roll through it.
Sounds like the cops have been talking to you already.
Yeah. So I
got some blood drops on your shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my son fell this morning earlier.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I was able to take him to the doctors and everything was okay. I took him with another lady so she can watch him for me, because I wasn't staying at home. I had problems going on with my parents and they didn't let me in the house. So I was staying with another lady. She was super sweet. That's where my son fell. And then, but we left, so I was like, okay, so I went to another lady's house and I told her if she could watch him for me. I wanted to come get, I wanted to fully recover. I'm an alcoholic, so I was like, if you can watch him for me for 12 months, that'd be amazing, because I'm not talking to.
So here, first part of the story is that she's with a friend. He falls over at the friend's house. She alludes to being an alcoholic here. You also got to kind of look at her demeanor. She's kind of standoffish, kind of looking around. People who do this typically, in my experience, they're trying to figure out what to say, because they don't have all the answers right now. They're preparing themselves for whatever the next question that the officer is going to ask is going to be. So they're thinking ahead, trying to figure out, okay, what will he ask me? Well, I have a good enough answer for it, so I can kind of play this thing off. So she has blood on her shoe. So she obviously didn't think through everything that she was, her plan or whatever plan of action that she had. She has a female friend who she asked to watch her kid for 12 months so she can go to alcoholic rehab, which is weird, because your son is missing, your kiddo is missing, your 4-year-old, and so you should be out looking for him as a mother. I feel like that's something that you would do in this type of situation. You go out, look for the kid, try to make sure the kid is okay, safe. But she's kind of given kind of some weird, there's some weird things going on here with this lady. Like I said, her demeanor says a lot about where she's at, how she's thinking, what's going on. Looking around, not really making eye contact, kind of using her hands to communicate. I know I do that sometimes on the show, but just kind of looking at some of those things and understanding that, some things that she's saying aren't adding up. That you took him to a hospital, got him checked out, and I'll let her tell a little bit more of her story, but as you see, as she goes through her story, it's going to kind of go haywire a little bit. She's going to have some issues about some things and where she's at. And so I want you guys to pay attention to that real quick. So let's get back to it here. Sorry, I had to take a brief moment. Real quick.
My mom, and she's the one that has just like a notarized paper saying that she has legal custody of them, but I have legal custody of them. She's not letting me see my older son, so
that would be really hard.
Yeah, I'm a little bit upset about that one. So yeah. I'm here now and everything's okay. So I don't know what else.
Well, we want to make sure that he's safe and know where he is. Who's the friend that you left it with?
I left him with another lady. I don't have her information.
Oh, well, that's not going to cut it. We got to figure out where he's at. Where can you, tell me the location where somebody could go and check on him and make sure he's okay?
In SeaTac area.
Okay.
Seattle.
More specific?
I don't have an address.
No.
So, it says Seattle.
How do you know the name?
That's all I know.
Okay. And you've known her? Okay. But you've known her for a long time? So how did you reach out to her?
So I reached out to her because I needed help.
How did you reach out to her?
I found her number on my old Facebook, but I no longer have a Facebook anymore. So.
Okay.
Is something you trying to sign back into?
No.
No? deleted it all.
I delete it all the time. So
Yeah, you found it today on your old Facebook, and her name is. Okay, and she lives in the SeaTac area. So you drove him from the first house you were at to her house, or the doctor first. What doctor did you take him to?
Swedish, and that's it.
Swedish where?
Or I think it's Providence, actually. Providence in Everett.
In Everett, Providence.
Okay. You understand? We just need to make sure that he's okay, and then
Yeah.
we can just do that, and then we can leave you be. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So how do we find?
I don't know.
Can you describe to me how you got there from Providence?
So I just drove from there to Seattle, and then that's it.
You drove from Providence to Seattle.
Yes.
Okay.
So now they're asking her questions. They're trying to see where the friend is, trying to get specific answers. She's kind of being deceptive here as far as where's your friend live at. We're trying to figure out where the kid is. We're trying to check his welfare. We need to know the address. And she's like, well, you got to write it down. And then she kind of looks around a little bit, trying to figure out, okay, what else do I need to say? And so she keeps on trying to push the I don't know the exact address. I can write it down. I can take it there. Kind of throwing out a couple cues that there's something else going on here that she's not willing to say. And as we kind of go on, and obviously we'll cut to the chase here in a little bit, but I just kind of want you guys to watch her demeanor, see how she's acting, see how she's reacting to these officers when they're asking her questions about her kiddo. Kid hit his head. She went to go take him to go get checked out. Now they're trying to figure out, okay, where's he at? Like, we want to make sure he's good, because as law enforcement, we got to lay eyes on the kid, make sure the kid is good. But these officers obviously have more information about what's going on than what they're telling her. And so a lot of times people, they literally talk themselves into a hole. And so that's what she's doing here. She's talking herself into a hole, and there's no telling what's going on up here. Like, no telling. She could be suffering from some type of mental disorder. There's a whole lot out there, BPD, narcissism, all those things. So she could be suffering from those disorders, and this is just her. This is the person that she created. This is just her. And so she's kind of being evasive with information. Typically, when people are evasive with information, it's because they're not. They may be telling a partial truth, but it ain't the whole truth. So when you get in these conversations with people and they're evasive with information, just know that going in, that they're obviously being deceptive about something. They're hiding something. I mean, if you hide a piece of information that's pertinent to what you're talking about, you're being deceptive. So I think she's being deceptive, but they already know, so it's easy for them to read through her deceptiveness.
Did you drive on the freeway or? Mm-hmm. Okay. How long did it take you to get there?
Like 2 hours.
2 hours. And what car were you driving?
My car. So just like 1 hour or so.
And what kind of car do you have?
I have a Nissan.
Okay. Where's that car now?
I don't have it with me.
Okay.
So.
Where's it at?
I left it at her house, and then I came over here on the bus.
Okay.
You left the SeaTac.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What? Do you remember what exit you took?
I don't know.
Okay.
So just to clarify, you go from Everett.
And you guys notice how when they start drilling her a little bit, asking more questions, she kind of does a yawn with her hands together, right? Those are things that people do when they're being deceptive. It's the little things, the little minute things that she's doing that's telling me that she's being deceptive with her answers.
To the hospital in Everett. You get him checked out. You drive to your friend in SeaTac. You leave the car there. You leave him there, and you take a bus from SeaTac down here. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that all happened today.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty expensive ticket. Get a C-tram bus to come down here.
No, actually, it was only like $30.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your first name again?
Jeanette.
Jeanette.
And she's continuing to hold her hands kind of in that general position as she's talking. When you look at her, it's almost like a little kid. A little kid being talked to by the officers by how her demeanor is, kind of cowering back. Cowering back, hands together, little weird things that she's doing that kind of give me the mindset that she's definitely being deceptive, or there's some she's being deceptive obviously, but there's some things going on up here that may have gone undiagnosed.
Okay, Jeanette. You're not
lying.
You have a longtime friend that you reach out to leave your son with,
son.
who you obviously care about very
Of
much.
course, I love him with all my
Yes,
heart.
because and you're expressing how upset you are about what's going on between you and your mom and the custody of him and your older son. I think that's horrible. So I know that you're not going to go leave your son with somebody and you don't know where he is.
Yeah, no.
So you do know where he is.
No, I know where he is. I know where he's at.
Tell me where he's at.
I don't have the address for him.
Okay, how can we find the address for him?
I don't know.
Did you put it in your phone
No.
to get there? Okay, you know where your son is.
So now they've gotten her, they backed her into a corner. Now they're like, hey, where is he at? Like, I don't know the address. That tells you right there that the kid wasn't left with a friend. You and she know the friend's address. So the kid is elsewhere. And this is where my antennas go up, that there may be something nefarious going on with this lady and something with the kid that she's not willing to tell. Because you don't, as a mom, and I'm not a mama, so I can't really speak for all moms, but as a mom, I feel like you guys know where your kids are all times. Especially if we drop them off over there.
It's because you're a mom who loves her son very much and you didn't
I'm
just...
not Jeanette.
I'm sorry, Jeanette.
Yeah.
You took him somewhere and you're going to go back to him and you know where he is. So tell me where he's at so we can make sure that he's okay or what's going on.
So he's not, I mean, he's there. He's with
Okay,
her, but
tell
he's
me
not
how
with
to
me.
go check on him.
I can give you an address.
Okay, what's the address?
I don't know. You have to write it down.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you.
Do you have a phone number for it too?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have a phone number for her, but
When he fell, where'd he get hurt?
just he on his head, but he
Oh.
fell on the ground and he hurt himself.
Heads are the worst.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find, I don't even,
How old's your son?
he is 5. So I don't know if this is the right one. And Seattle, Washington. So I mean Seattle, Washington.
Where did you get that address from? Just now.
From the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she
So
knew.
that's where you remember leaving him.
So yeah. That's her
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
They're bleeping out, obviously, because there's a lot of
How you spell that?
information going on here that they don't want to release. So I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit. So she ends up giving the information for where the kid is, and they end up kind of trying to backtrack a little bit, try to figure out what's going on.
My 3rd year here.
Okay.
So I did 11 months in recovery because I was never.
So says she's in recovery here at this place. Skip ahead. Now she didn't put her hood
Or
on.
did you did? Okay, you just said he's not going to be seen and left.
Yeah.
Okay, and how is he acting?
He's okay.
Yeah.
What happened to him when he fell?
Nothing. He just cried.
Just cried? Just
Left him.
Just like.
Left him out here. It's crazy.
Do you want to sit down? I can I can leave the door open. You can sit right there so you're out of the range.
Left him. It's crazy.
Hospital for?
I was only there for a little bit of time again. I didn't want to wait, so I was like, let's go. As soon as I walked in, the front desk was checked in right there, and I said my son had to be seen for something.
So it sounds like she took son to the hospital. Didn't want to wait. Said it was taking too long. He's got a head injury, and mom don't want to wait because it's taking too long.
And then I just his name and everything.
Okay.
And that's
You're
it.
going like this, so you wrote it down, or was there like did they have like a? Is it front, side, back? Do you remember?
So really, this kind of goes on for a little bit. She's basically trying to explain what hospital that she took her son to be checked out for his head injury. So push for a little bit. They found the body in Pierce County. It's crazy. She says she dropped him off with a longtime friend. Then the story changes to this obvious head injury. She said he fell and hit his head, and that's how he got the injury to his head. She's got blood on her shoe. And so the medical examiner down there ended up ruling it a homicide. and so it's being investigated as a homicide. So she is under arrest for charge of killing her son. We won't know all the details as they kind of go through the investigation. They don't really release a whole lot of information, but as they do, I'll kind of like to update this one. This is a good study, a good opportunity to kind of see demeanor and to understand that, you know, people aren't always all there inside their heads, and so they have things that are going on that they're battling, and you know, it's one of those things where you just kind of be careful, you know, and be watchful, you know, be practical about it too. But yeah, she's definitely got some type of personality disorder, I believe, going on in her head. She said she abused alcohol. She's trying to get sober. So obviously there's some abuse of some things in the past. I don't know her history as far as child abuse, if there's any other prior cases where DCF was called out or anything like that. And so those would be good things that you'd want to know in a case like this, just to see if there's any kind of a history of child abuse on this kid that you can tie into what led us to this point today. Because obviously something led us to this point today. Like, we got here, you know, because of XYZ. And so I think that those things also help in this case. Just like when I was talking about the Micah Miller case earlier last week, like the little dots, the pieces that connect these cases, you know, good officers are going to take care of business and get that information to make sure that, you know, if it's needed later on, we have it. We don't have to go look for it. We don't have to go search for it. None of that jazz. And so, yeah, hopefully this kid will get justice. They'll be able to figure out what happened, tell the story. My condolences to the little kid, 4-year-old, plenty of life ahead of him. Just was born to the wrong person. Essentially, this lady was not the right person to be born to. She shouldn't have had a kid in the first place for her to even do this type of thing to him. And so, I feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for the grandparents, the dad. I don't know where the dad is in the picture. Something that you keep in mind. And this is one of those things where, like, you know, you get to a point where, you know, when these things happen, I mean, mothers killing their children is crazy. And so you've got to look, it's a complex thing. It's a complex thing. And so we have to use the complexity of it to understand that, you know, this type of crime is first, it's not something that happens often. I will tell you that. It's not a crime that you deal with a lot on the streets. But when it does happen, it's shocking to the community. It's shocking to everybody because you just don't see a mother doing this to her kiddo. So definitely some things going on inside her head. Wish her the best. Good luck in her. I mean, she's probably going to end up with some prison time here because they'll probably hit her with the murder. Whether it's premeditated or not, that'll be up to them to decide. But they'll probably hit her with the aggravated child endangerment. Even if it was he hit his head and I didn't want to wait at the hospital, so I just took him and then I just left him out here. That you assisted in the child dying because of your actions, and so that'll be one thing I'll be interested to see in the coming weeks to see as this thing kind of unfolds a little bit. But again, if you like our stuff, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can get notification. It's G2 the Vibe Podcast again. I'm rocking. I'm out.